Jimmy, so great to see you again. Actually, for the second day in a row. And that's because we recorded yesterday and your awesome Hampton Inn Wi Fi crushed a lot of your audio.
It
So,
did.
yeah. But thank you for making time when you're traveling away for work in North Carolina. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
And we have a couple of things to talk about today. And I think where we want to start is aftermarket accessories and warranty. And I know that you have something going on that you're not exactly thrilled about. So why don't you go ahead and share with us?
Yeah. So, one, thank you as well for taking time out of your day to try this for a second time. Did I just completely freeze?
No, no, you're good.
Okay.
You're live.
All right. Well, my screen has frozen, so I'll keep going. Um, yeah. So thanks for taking time out of your schedule to make a second go of this. Um, for those that aren't aware, and you're back now, so good. Um, we have had a few people in the Rivian Stories community, one or two more in Rivian clubs, and I believe I've seen a few others on Rivian forums who have been requested to pay $400 by Rivian to remove and reinstall sliders on their vehicles. Rivian, whether it's through um, lack of what's the word I'm looking for? Whether it's due to liability or whatever, Rivian is not wanting to use the jack points, as some of these sliders have changed some of the jack point locations to where you're no longer using, say for instance, the front jack point on, we have the megawatt sliders from Electruck 4x4. The front jack point actually is unchanged, but the rear jack point uses, you actually jack it still using the puck from now, instead of using the rear jack point, it's now on the 2-inch square tubing that's 2-inch by 1/88 inch thick square tubing, so plenty thick from a stability and safety perspective. But because it's not the factory point, Rivian has is and not has or has and is wanting to collect $400 from customers. Um, and it's frustrating because, uh, like I mentioned yesterday in that recording, Rivian has not. Rivian has left a hole in the market for third-party accessories, and true to form in any truck or aftermarket, any market, especially in an adventure vehicle market, when you leave a hole, somebody's going to fill it when it comes to accessories. And in this instance, steps or sliders, there's like 4 or 5 companies out there that are making them now, and it that will continue to grow until Rivian comes out with their own product.
Right. And I remember way back, Rivian had announced that they were going to come out with a Rivian version of rock sliders, and that hasn't happened. Quite
Mhm.
frankly, I don't hold them. I don't hold that against them because they have bigger fish to fry, and
They
I don't
do.
want them focused on making a lot of accessories. But these are outdoor adventure vehicles, and people are going to want to accessorize and customize them, especially something with as much function, whether it's rock sliders for protection or steps allowing easier access to get up into. I mean, these are trucks and SUVs.
Hmm.
And, you know, I remember before Rivian had Neil mode, how many people said that it was a little bit tough for them to,
Hmm.
you know, get up into the R1s. So the way that I feel about it, I understand where they're coming from to a certain extent, but like you said, these are made of metal, they're made of steel and
Hmm.
should be as strong, if not stronger, than the
Right.
factory point locations. So I feel strongly that Rivian needs to take a more customer friendly approach,
Hmm.
and they need to test these, they need to validate them. I'm confident they're safe, but Rivian could do that quite easily. Like you said, there's 4 or 5 options on the market. I'm sure
Hmm.
that customers would volunteer their vehicles for Rivian to test.
Yep.
And I know Rivian might be worried about liability, might be worried about the safety of their service center personnel, and those are totally valid worries. And that's why take a small amount of time
Hmm.
to go through and validate and test and say, okay, this is safe. Oh yeah, actually the structural integrity of these is stronger than than the factory jack points. So that's how I feel about the rock slider thing. But to me, this is actually an even bigger issue. And that's because people do want to customize and accessorize their vehicles. And I think that Rivian needs to take a little bit different stance with the aftermarket in general. And I think especially on upcoming vehicles, because the R1s are not very easy to accessorize in a lot of ways as it relates to aftermarket bumpers is a good example, or, you know, these rock sliders. And matter of fact, even for racks and things like bed covers, camper covers, things like that. I would like to see Rivian put a little bit more thought into future designs to better accommodate the aftermarket. And I've shared that
Right.
with some folks at Rivian and even encouraged them to bring in aftermarket companies in the design process, because a lot of these companies make things for different manufacturers and models of vehicles. And
Right.
there's an aftermarket friendly way to do things. And I think at the end of the day, that's going to make Rivians more desirable and more
Yeah.
customizable. And it's something, yeah, that I would definitely like to see them do better with their next offerings.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing I'll add to that I mentioned when we tried this yesterday is, Rivian has gotten to the point where they've added verbiage uh, in their warranty guide, which basically states, and I'll pull it up, but my luck today is I will crash Google like I just did. That's why I disappeared for about 10 seconds. Anyways, so in their warranty guide, they state that basically any third party or any aftermarket accessory that Rivian does not essentially approve has the potential to void your warranty, which is in direct conflict with the Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act of 1975, which, Skylar, I will then kick to you to explain that better than I will, because I will my computer might crash if I try to explain it.
Yeah, fair enough. So basically, that act, as it pertains specifically to automotive, to the vehicle market, is that any modification that you make will not void your warranty in any way, right? And in order for a manufacturer to claim that the warranty doesn't apply, they have to prove. And prove, legally speaking, is kind of a tough thing to do, right? But they have to prove that modification caused a warranty component to fail or largely contributed to the failure. So
Right.
something like a bolt-on rock slider or something along those lines is not going to cause a failure, right?
Right.
Or a warranty related failure. So it's a tough hill to climb, and I think that it's a little bit interesting and a little bit misguided for Rivian to even put out language like that when the legal precedence on that is, set in stone and has been for years. I mean, in fact, I think some people know that I've been a big Jeep guy for years and very involved with the Jeep community, which there are thousands of ways to customize Jeeps. And I've actually not personally experienced it, but I've seen a lot of people go through warranty battles with dealerships and that are somehow maybe related to aftermarket modifications. And as long as you are an educated consumer and know about the Moss Magnuson Warranty Act, then you really don't have anything to worry about. Even if you've put giant tires, gears, I mean, a big suspension lift. I mean, it is a tall hill to climb to prove that a modification caused a warranty issue.
Yeah. It's frustrating, I guess, is where I'll end with that, because there's just a lot of we have seen this. I can't tell you how many times, Skylar, you and I have seen this on Rivian Stories, where members of our community are questioning have questioned steps or sliders because information that they've received from friends, maybe somebody at the Rivian service center that has mentioned it in passing, whatever the case may be, questioning whether or not they should put steps or sliders on their vehicle because of the fact that it's going to void their warranty. So
yeah, and the simple answer is no, it's not. And regardless of what Rivian says, because the law is established, so it is not going to void your warranty. And if you need them or you want them, put them on. Now, the part that is a little interesting is that if Rivian does take a hard line on we will not jack up your vehicle unless you pay us $400 to remove and then reinstall those accessories, that's a tough one. And I've been through that personally for a factory recall on one of my Jeeps, where I had an aftermarket bumper, an aftermarket winch wired, an aftermarket front camera wired, and I did have to pay them to remove and reinstall that stuff. But I see that as a separate issue when from these rock sliders, because there are viable, strong jack locations available.
Right.
And Rivian just needs to test those. I mean, because I know they're going to pass the test. So Rivian needs to be a little bit more customer friendly in that regard, because that's crazy. Why would you even want to have them removed and reinstalled when you can just lift the vehicle with those on there
Right.
safely? So
Yeah.
that's my take. And I don't know if you have any closing thoughts here, but there's also a bit of a segue to the next topic in the next episode that we're going to do about charging adapters. But anything to wrap up on this one, Jimmy?
I think I'm good. I think I don't want to beat this horse any more than I have to anybody that will listen to me lately, to include you over text prior to us doing this. But no, I'm looking forward to seeing Rivian's Rivian course correct, because they got to, and that now I'm done.
Yeah, no, they should, and it will not take them too much time and effort. And even if it includes things like signing a waiver or something along those lines about potential damage to your rock sliders. But
Right.
the other thing that I am still waiting to see, and we can end with this, and maybe you'll share it with the Rivian Stories community, but your rock sliders actually saved your R1T when you weren't off-road.
Oh,
So we don't tell the story,
Okay.
but maybe you can post pictures and share it online for people.
Oh yeah, I'll do that. Because that's a good one, and that would have been really bad.
Yeah,
A lot more expensive. A lot more expensive than an $1,800 slider. That's for sure. Had I not had those.
Yep, and protection for your urban adventures too. So I like it. Anyway.
Exactly. All right. Well, yeah, I think we should close this one out, man.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, and we'll get on to the next topic here shortly.
Yeah, man.